Welcome back to Rasta's Realities, where my reality is your reality. Thanks for joining in when you could be any place in the city. Roll with me as I go into the center and enter into our reality. Like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. No funds for reparations, but funds for stimulus. Interesting. When Bernie Sanders was questioned about reparations, he feigned ignorance. When educated on the matter, the millionaire of the Jewish type persisted that he did not know what reparations were, even though his people got them and continues to get them. When the host spelled it out to him, he then ranted on about it wasn't feasible, along with a slew of excuses of why not to pay them, and particularly to the ebony and or black ethnicity. Correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Afghanistan, the Jewish, Native Americans, the Chinese, who suffered that bomb get reparations from America? Isn't the court systems set up to give reparations for civil damages? OJ did not suffer much jail time, but was ordered to pay what is essentially reparations to whomever. Now, before you butthurt types of people jump all over Rasta over the OJ reference, it is only a reference to show proof of what reparations are and that they can be paid. You damage someone or an entity, they sue you and you pay for your transgressions financially. That is what reparations are. So do not tell me and or us that we are not due reparations, or you can't pay it, or make up a whole list of excuses. Well, how are we going to pay it? How are we going to decide who gets it? You know, again, you're using tactics of diversion and deflection, which isn't going to work anymore. The sleeping giant is slowly beginning to awake. I'm not saying that I've never voted, but how can anyone vote for a party who doesn't believe that you and your people don't deserve reparations and don't ever even talk about it? How do you vote for people and entities that pass bills to continue multiple forms of slavery, including the block of due monies to ebony folk? It seems to me that there are so many in love with massa and this colonizer's system. I mean, I get it. You got to get paid, right? But not at the expense of my and your children. See, the goalpost has been moved so much that even some grassroots folk are simply confused and or has lost the big picture. Tulsa, Oklahoma was a prime example of blacks or ebony folk creating their own space in time and history, all for the other ethnicities to burn, loot, maim, and kill when they were in their own spaces, not asking for handouts as we do now, not looking, not even seeking reparations at that time. To my knowledge. They were in their own spaces, doing their own things with their own people. Hatred is what it boils down to. Hatred that we or they did not need Massa and his handouts, that I might add, are far below its true market value. More critically, without people seeking handouts from the establishment of powers, then the power is now removed. Speaking of power, true power seems to be economic. That said, stay tuned for my video, Illusion of Inclusion. And if I may touch on, if I may expound on people seeking free this and free that, the Medicaid, the Social Security, the Section 8. When you seek those things out and they slap the moniker of free on that, and when you slap the moniker of free on anything, whether it is the upper class, the middle class, or the lower class, all classes are going to gravitate towards it. Just simply from the moniker of free. But nothing is free. There is a cost for everything. As I have said before, there's a cost for everything. Somebody's going to pay, and it's usually the poor who are paying for everyone else. The same with breathing. I'll use breathing as an example. There's a cost for breathing. What are the costs? You need lungs. You need blood. You need nerves. You need a heart to pump the blood. You need a brain as a central CPU of the body to have all of that operate. So even though we feel that breathing is free, it is not. Ask our bodies. It's breathing free. Now, the more free this and free that, the longer the black or ebony people stays in bondage. Remember, it's chess, not checkers. 3 to 4 moves ahead as it pertains to the thought process. See, when fighting for what's owed, it will not occur in at least one or more lifetimes. Meaning, what we fight for now, only and our descendants will see it when and if it becomes successful. This goes for reparations, etc. As I close, the reparations owed should have been paid in the 1865 time period. If not then, well before now. And they know this. But as long as they continue to offer program this and program that and free this and free that, they continue to move the goalposts. And boycotting, as some of our ancestors did, it's effective, but it's limited. It is still limited, because if the powers that be don't change, which my allusion to inclusion will speak on, if the upper powers that change doesn't change, and there's no true change there will not be ever any true change, like these politicians have said and continue to say. How does it change when the top is still the top? Make that make sense. Now, understanding the mindset of the new forms of slavery is to know that the old mindset is still present. Though they're passed down partners, ergo their children and family members. So you see, we are right back at the starting point of legacies. Every other ethnicities know the meaning of legacy except for blacks or ebony folk. And that has to change, which is true change. not the change that Obama and everyone after him has bantered on about. He spoke about change, but he was intentionally vague, and most fell for it. This includes myself. Make no mistake about it. I'm pro-black all day and night, but that doesn't mean that everyone that looks like you or I is for you or I. No matter how moving their speeches may be or charismatic they may be, without true tangibles, what was the point? Well, you're seeing the point in this current society in the year of 2020. Like I said in my video, Too Poor to Be Bought, check it out. I have been at the absolute bottom multiple times, and fear is not something that registers anymore. Threaten me with death, loss of profits, jailing is not going to work, as I have already experienced all of those in some form or another in a combined fashion. There's nothing else to lose. There's nowhere to go but up. When I reach up, it is to touch the absolute bottom. Let me say that again. When I reach up, it is to touch the absolute bottom. Let that sink in for a moment. As far as reparations are concerned, I'm not trying to hear any more excuses. The same when one or a group of black or ebony folk complain about the conditions. We're told to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and suck it up and this really. And this also includes by some of our own people who say this to us. Which goes to my point of those who look like you may not be for you. So when it comes to reparations, America, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and pay up. The same way you passed a $2 trillion stimulus bill, cut the reparations check and cut the bullshit. As in J.G. Wentworth, it's my money and I want it now.